had with the folks from the Ford Idaho Center Horse Park. Uh, we're looking at partnering with them to help them as far as develop approximately 50 plus RV spaces, which will help us be able to attract better venues, different venues than we've been able to have before. So that was a big deal. We had a lot of red shirts in the room that night. We also awarded the bid for the phase 2 of the Midway Park construction. So we'll be seeing further improvements out at Midway Park, additional ball fields and recreational areas, which will really be nice for our community, especially in West Nampa. We also authorized the mayor to sign a letter of commitment for the final submission of work to be done on the North Side Boulevard corridor improvements, and that's from Karcher to Cherry Lane, which will help link into the area that the Nampa Development Corporation has been involved with, trying to get industrial growth out in that area. So it will help the circulation patterns for the larger trucks and service vehicles as well. As far as public hearings, we had 5, 3 of note. The first was the approval of a preliminary plat, plan unit development for 271 single-family homes, 35 common lots. This is the Cherry Grove subdivision, which you approved at the planning and zoning level. We also reviewed and approved annexation and zoning to RMH for Happy Valley Townhomes, which were 48 units in 12 fourplex buildings. Had quite a bit of conversation about it. It was finally approved. And then the other item of note is annexation and zoning to IL. This is for property that's near the interstate on McDermott. They were requesting the authorization to move forward with 2 industrial flex buildings, totaling 703,300 square feet of leasable space. We have a very low, well, there's available spaces in Nampa of about 1% for IL, light industrial use. So this will definitely meet a need and will be a part of a future corridor study plan that is being done under right now by ITD and the cities of Nampa and Meridian. So with that, that's really all about I have to say, and I'll answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Randy? Okay, that's it, sir.
Have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
We don't have any consent agendas. Was there any staff communication? Anything you want to tell us? No? Okay. Okay, well, I have 6 o'clock, so we can go right on to public hearings. So first up on the agenda is conditional use permit for alcohol sales at 108 12th Avenue South. Do we have the applicant here? Come on up, give us your name and address, and tell us what you want to do. You can move that all you want to get it so we can hear you.
Kind of moving around a little bit. There we go. My name is Beatrix Westmoreland, and I am representing Har West Group. My other 2 partners, Sam Westmoreland and Cole Harbig, are here with me as well. We are in the process of hoping to open a upscale bar lounge at 108 12th Avenue South. Our concept that we're going for is something kind of nice, a little bit more on the trendy side. We're hoping to do a lot of local collaborations with local artists, local musicians, hopefully partner with some local food distributors, anybody that we can find that we can have a beneficial kind of collaborative relationship with. We are all born and raised in the Treasure Valley, so we're very passionate about the community here. We love Nampa. And over the past several months, we've worked really hard and spent a lot of time getting to know Nampa, getting to know the other business owners, speaking with people who work for the city, and we've had a great journey thus far. We're really hoping to be part of the community and see what it is that we can do to give back and have a positive impact. And we're really looking forward to working with you. Any questions? What's that? It's 108 12th Avenue South. Thank you.
Sorry, Karen.
Any other questions I can answer?
Yes. Do you have a name for the business yet?
Yes, sir. We're leaning towards the Syringa Lounge.
Moringa?
Yes, sir. We wanted something that would be kind of Idaho specific. So as Syringa is the Idaho state flower, we thought it to be fitting.
And in your application, you said, "We intend to build a thriving municipal hub for patrons to relax, social groups to gather regularly." Give me an example of the social groups that will regularly be coming by to meet in your building or whatever.
Well, we were thinking that we might try to build like trivia night. We want to be able to start other groups that. So we have trivia night. We were thinking of, for example, maybe like any kind of club night for like local groups. For example, I'm part of a women's real estate investing group that goes to lots of other different locations for their meetings every month. So we would want to promote towards groups like that. And then we were speaking with the director for the Chamber of Commerce, Mitch Minetti, and he was saying that he would be interested in perhaps holding some of the chamber meetings there as well. So we really want to be able to promote those kind of social events and such.
We're not talking about the Proud Boys or the Hells Angels.
No, sir.
Okay, I have another couple of serious questions. You also said that you guys have 20 years' experience in the business. What are some other places that you've managed or worked at here in town?
Let's
20
see.
years. Where does that 20 years come from?
Mostly in downtown Boise. So myself, I was a catering director at Banbury Golf Club in Eagle for many, many years. My partner, Cole Harbig, he was a manager for Teatro Bars downtown Boise. So he was able to manage, work at, oversee renovations at Tom Graney's, Silly Birch, the Whiskey Bar, the renovation of the Ranch Club over the past 10 years. And then Sam has worked in some hospitality-based businesses, but he actually works for a local food distributor, Shamrock Foods. And so he works directly with a lot of different hospitality
That's a good
companies as
connection
well.
for your business if you're going to have big food and things like that. So,
Yes,
yeah, it
sir.
works for me. Another question I had, you mentioned we have been in direct contact with multiple city council members. Is that not ex parte communication?
All we wanted to do was just kind of reach out and just make people aware of our business and see if there was anything that we could be doing specifically to make sure that we are fitting into NAMPA's standards, trying to reach out and just not spring our concept on anybody per se. We just want to make sure that we're reaching out and trying to be as collaborative as possible. And we really want to get along with everybody. We want this to be a positive impact. And so we just tried to make people aware of our business.
You weren't actually talking about approvals and things?
No, sir, no.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we may have questions after we hear from staff.
Excellent,
All
thank
right,
you.
Thank you. Hey, Christy.
Okay. Well, thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Christy Watkins, Principal Planner for the City of Nampa. The action requested from you this evening is the approval or denial of the conditional use permit for an alcohol sales establishment at 108 12th Avenue South. So this project is located in the Downtown Historic District in a building that is addressed at 108 12th Avenue South, so it's not a tenant space, it's the actual building's address. It's located next to the open area that has the horse mural in it and is completely surrounded by other DH-zoned properties. There is a mix of retail and service-type businesses in this area. Off-street parking is not required by code because on-street parking is made available to all of the businesses downtown. So there are 3 criteria that need to be considered for a conditional use permit. The Planning and Zoning Commission should evaluate whether or not the proposed use is part of an appropriate development for this area. Public facilities are available. Restaurants and alcohol sales establishments already exist in the downtown. On-street parking is available throughout. And this will not generate an abnormal amount of traffic for that area. And the second one, job opportunities and business ownership will be enhanced by any new businesses that choose to locate in Nampa's downtown. This is an existing building with open tenant space that will require building permits for any internal remodels. External remodels of the building's facade will require design review and building permits. The existing building has served as a convenient and functional shopping environment for previous business tenants, and it appears that this condition would not change significantly with this new use. The Nampa Comprehensive Plan states that downtown business owners and community leaders need to continually evaluate what makes our downtown unique, what activities will bring people to the area, and what economic opportunities are available, and what type of funding would be needed to revitalize those efforts. The Planning and Zoning Commission should evaluate whether the proposed use will enhance the successful operation of the area. So based on the analysis that we completed using these three criteria, staff can reasonably recommend to the Planning and Zoning Commission that this project be approved. So this is just a street view of the property. Couldn't get a head-on shot of it, but to the left there is where the horse mural is on the wall. And then this is going south down 12th. So there was some correspondence received, late comment that was forwarded to you, that a person that does object to another alcohol establishment downtown and would like to see more family-friendly uses in the downtown area. The only other comment was from the building department that, of course, would require that they meet the Title IV building code requirements. So the conditions of approval are listed in your staff report, and these are your potential motions. I will stand for any questions.
Any questions for Christy? Okay, let's go to public testimony. I have the three applicants on here, four, which is good. Then I have Matthew Lind would like to speak. Come on up. Give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Matthew Lind, resident at 2423 College Ave in Caldwell, business owner in downtown Nampa. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you guys. As you may or may not know, I happen to serve on the board of the BID for downtown Nampa and on the Main Street Association as well. But today I'm just visiting you guys as a business owner from downtown Nampa. I'd like to speak in support of their request for the conditional use permit, and I suppose these comments can be applied to another hearing you're about to have in a few minutes here. We're actually quite excited as a business to see another applicant, another developer, I should say, coming into our area. We think this is the type of business that will actually lend well to the ongoing economic growth of our downtown community. We're excited to see additional business owners that's going to join our growing effort at getting engaged people active in our community. As you may know, we've been struggling with some long-term vacancies in some of the buildings downtown. So to see a place occupied by a vibrant concept with engaged owners is very essential and important to us. I'm very excited as well to see the concept of wrapping our downtown entertainment scene, so to speak, further around the corner so we can actually expand off that small one-block area of First Street South where we're kind of hemmed in by a couple of those long-term vacant buildings and wrapping that entertainment district a little bit around the corner so we can expand the scene. Overall, I'm highly supportive of this concept. I believe it will lend well to increasing the overall, let's say, higher end development of our entertainment scene, bringing the concept continually higher up, and drive more patrons downtown. As you may know, for a long time, our downtown has had a very heavy mix of what we call secondhand merchandise. We've had over a 60% mix of that for a long time. So where you see that is a lot of antique stores, and a lot of those places close around 4 p.m. So we're missing this economic block from 4 p.m. onto the later hours, where there's more opportunities for the public to be downtown in engaging in commerce. Along with that comes a good secondary use for the infrastructure down there. You know, we pay for all those parking lots and parking spots and maintenance of the public infrastructure, and if we're only using them for a short block of time, it's not taking advantage of what we've created. So once again, I speak in high support of this request, and thank you all for your time.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Since you are familiar with the downtown area and work with them, and you mentioned about the secondhand stores and how the percentages, what's the percentage of establishments that sell alcohol downtown?
I'm doing a quick count. So the last study we had actually predates some of the openings, so it's difficult to say. I believe there's currently 2 establishments that are dedicated what you would call bar or tavern. One is a dedicated bar, but it does not serve hard alcohol. And then the rest of the establishment in the district that are currently licensed are restaurants. That's the best of my recollection at the moment.
And the restaurants, they primarily get their business from the food end rather than the liquor end.
I wouldn't want to be quoted because I haven't seen their balance sheet, but their primary activity overall is the restaurant side with the alcohol on the side. As you are well aware, oftentimes a lot of the profits do come from the sales of beer and wine just because of the high margins on food sales.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Okay, the only other person I have is Don Westmoreland, and you're for the proposal. Do you want to speak? Okay. I have nobody else signed up. Is there anybody else present that would like to speak for, against, or undecided on this? Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
Make a motion to close public hearing?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed.
I like it.
I do too.
I like the fact that there's more business that's coming downtown. It's always a good thing. Most of my life in downtown's been pretty.
Bookstores.
And it's finally getting to the point where it's someplace that I can go with my wife and even take my kids and feel comfortable to go and hang out for the evening and then go home. So,
You gonna take your kids here?
what's that?
You gonna take your kids here?
Probably not.
You can wait outside.
There we go.
They'll sit over at
They can drive you
over at
home.
2C,
There.
play games.
You know, the comment about the hours, I think that's really, I really appreciated that comment because it does seem to die down about 4 or 5 o'clock and then people go home. So I do like this. I think it's a good addition to downtown. With that, I'll make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit for alcohol sales establishment, primary use at 108 12th Avenue South in the DH zoning district for Har West Group LLC representing Treehorn LLC with all conditions of staff and the conclusions of law.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the CUP. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the CUP is approved, and I have to read the little disclaimer here for you. This CUP will become effective 15 calendar days from the date of this hearing unless an appeal has been filed with the Planning and Zoning Department with the appropriate fee. No action should be taken on the CUP until the appeal period has concluded. The applicant must confirm with Planning and Zoning staff there have been no appeals. Okay, thank you. Okay, action item number 2, we have a subdivision preliminary plat and rezone for Bottle Farms. Did I say that right? Bottle Farms, Bottle Farms? Bodle, okay.
Please. Good evening, Madam Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Blaine Womer, Womer Engineering. We're located at 4355 West Emerald Street in Boise, and I'm going to be introducing you to the project this evening. The Bodle Farms project is a proposed annexation, R6 zone request, and preliminary plat for 5.12 acres located on the east side of Madison Road, south of Ustick Road. The proposed project is considered infill as it is surrounded by the Fall Creek subdivision on the north, east, and south boundaries of the property. The subject property is currently within the jurisdiction of Canyon County and contiguous to the city of Nampa along the previously described boundaries. The property is designated medium-density residential in the city's comprehensive plan future land use map. We are requesting a zone of RS6, consistent with the comprehensive plan designation. The medium-density residential designation allows for a density range of 2.51 to 8 dwelling units to the acre. Our density as proposed is 3.9 dwelling units to the acre. The Bodle Farms preliminary plat proposes 20 single-family residential lots, 2 common area lots, open space lots. The residential lots range in size from 5,620 square feet to 9,246 square feet, with the average lot size being 6,687 square feet. Total open space for the project is 0.7 acres, which calculates to be 23.6% of the net area, exceeding the city's minimum of 15% for projects over 5 acres in size. One of the open space lots is a 25-foot wide strip along the frontage of Madison Road. The second open space lot is located at the southeast corner of the project. This lot will be landscaped for active use and will also be used as a dual-use stormwater basin as well. With that, we have reviewed the staff report and the conditions of approval. We concur with all, and we're just asking for Planning Commission's approval tonight, and I'm happy to stand for any questions you might have.
Okay, we may have questions after we hear from staff.
Great.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Okay, Christie.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Again, Christy Watkins, Principal Planner for the City of Nampa. The request before you this evening is for annexation and zoning to RS6 for the Bodel Farms subdivision development at 17862 Madison Avenue. So for annexation, there are 3 criteria that need to be considered. Staff finds that this property is contiguous to the city limits on the north, east, and south sides, where it is adjacent to the Fall Creek subdivision, which is zoned RS7. Staff finds that the proposed RS6 zoning is consistent with the comprehensive plan future land use map designation of medium-density residential. And of course, the third item is the one where you have the most liberty to determine whether the timing and location of this project is appropriate for annexation. The zoning has a few more criteria, although very similar to that for annexation. Staff finds that the proposed RS6 zoning is consistent with the future land use map for medium-density residential. Staff finds that the request for 20 single-family residential lots on 5.12 acres is compatible with the Fall Creek subdivision that completely surrounds the project. Staff finds that the proposed RS6 zoning district is compatible with the zones and existing uses south of the proposed parcel. Staff finds that the proposed RS6 zoning would not create a spot zone and is consistent with the future land use map. And staff finds that the proposed annexation and residential development fills in an enclaved property that is surrounded by existing and matching development. So based on that analysis, staff can reasonably recommend to the commission that the project be approved. A little bit about traffic. They will be required to dedicate 40 feet of right-of-way along Madison Road. A traffic impact study was not required for this development because it was only 20 lots. The following capital improvement projects are identified in the city's 2018 Transportation Master Plan. Roundabout at Ustick and Northside, widening to 5 lanes at Ustick, Middleton Road, and Middleton Road to Franklin Boulevard, and a roundabout at Franklin Boulevard and Ustick Road. The project will be subject to standard traffic impact fees as mitigation for its contribution to traffic. So cities' water and sewer and pressurized irrigation systems have adequate capacity to serve this project, and the project will be required to construct utilities to and through the property at the time of development. The nearest fire department is 1.2 miles away. It's Station 3 with a 9-minute response time, and the nearest police station is 4.3 miles away. So the correspondence that was received was the building department with their standard Title IV building regulations. GIS requires that they edit some naming on the plat. Code compliance has noted that there is some solid waste and weeds that need to be removed prior to annexation. Valley View School District would like to have further conversations with the developer as they've not heard from them yet. Nampa Forester would just ask that they add the tree planting detail to the landscape plan. And the engineering division had their typical comments for a subdivision this size. So as noted, the comprehensive plan is medium-density residential and does promote single-family detached dwellings within those boundaries. The lot sizes and lot widths do comply with codes. The qualified open space actually measures out 2.51 acres, which is 17.2%. The qualified open space does consist of half of the landscaping area because the sidewalk meanders through it, and all of lot 22, which is a multi-use common lot, as he stated. As far as safe routes to school goes, Ridgeview High School is less than a mile away. It is within walking distance. Sage Valley Middle School is about 2 miles away, and East Canyon Elementary School is less than a mile away and is within walking distance. As far as fiscal impact goes, if the properties sell, depending on what the market shows at the time, if they sell around 500,000, if they fall within these categories for square footage, they will be a benefit to the city. The conditions of approval are listed in your staff report, and these are your motions. Now, the reason I have that highlighted is I completely forgot to add the engineering conditions of approval to this list in your staff report. So they're on the presentation, but they're not in your staff report. So if you wouldn't mind, if you could make the motion as listed in the engineering memo, I would really appreciate it. And I will stand for any questions.
Any questions for Christie?
Yeah, Christie, the conversations with Valley View School District, is that would the developer had not reached out to Valley View School District or vice versa? When you said they hadn't heard from?
So Commissioner Kirkman, usually when we have a project that has a number of lots, we'll get a negative, semi-negative letter from Valley View indicating that they are at capacity. This letter, because it's only 20 lots, was not quite as negative, if I could say it that way. So I didn't pass it on early in the process like I would normally have done. So the first time they've seen it has been with the staff report. So they probably just need to reach out to Valley View School District and have a conversation with them.
Any other questions for Christie? Okay, we'll go to public hearing. I have one person signed up for, Andrew Newell, and you wish not to speak, but you're on the record as for the proposal. Okay. Is there anybody else present that would like to speak for, against, or undecided on this proposal? Any questions for the applicant?
Move we close public hearing?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed. Looks like a good infill.
Wondering why it didn't go originally, but maybe the guy owned the house, doesn't make a difference.
I agree, looks like a good infill project, and any further discussion, I'll go ahead and make the motion to recommend approval of annexation and zoning to RS6 district and subdivision preliminary plat for Bodel Farms at 717862 Madison Avenue for Landmark Pacific Development, Inc., with all conditions listed in the staff report and in the engineering memo that Christie forgot.
You didn't have to make that part public.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to recommend approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that one goes on to city council. Okay, another conditional use permit for alcohol sales at 110 12th Avenue South. Do we have the applicant? Come on up. Make sure and give us your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Kylie Lowe. The address is actually 112 12th. Yeah, 112 12th Avenue South. I'm the owner of Boise Babes LLC, and I am hoping to open a wine bar / boutique in this address. We will have approximately 15 seats inside for consuming alcohol, and then the rest will be a boutique, which we will rent out space to local artists and creators so that they are able to display their items and sell through us. And then we will have a back patio where we will consume wine and alcohol back there as well. We are very interested in giving back to the community and working with others, businesses surrounding us, such as bringing in food menus from other companies, bringing in local artists, like I said, and supporting the company, the economy as much as we can, bringing in more jobs. something near and dear to our heart is we want to do as much charity as we can for local animal shelters and so forth. So that is our project.
Any questions?
I have a question for her. It says alcohol sales, and then you mentioned all the retail sales. So will a customer walk around with a drink in their hand and look at the merchandise, or will they look at the merchandise and sit down and have a drink? How is that going to work?
We will have the establishment be 21 and over only, so they will be able to walk around and adventure to retail and back to their seats.
So is it separated on the layout on the floor plan? Does it have the retails on one end and the?
Yeah, so the way our building's set up is there's a door in between the two that we can open and close. So the back area will be completely retail, while the front area will be the wine and beer bar.
You could close it off if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any connection between your neighbors next door?
No prior connection, no.
Will you have any future connection?
Hopefully, yeah.
That's why they're waiting around. That's why.
That was my first clue. There's probably something going on between the two people, so. And then what did that hopeful connection be? Trading of customers or trading of business or?
Yeah, just supporting each other and supporting local businesses and, yeah, in hopes, all businesses downtown.
Well, she stole your thunder when she made her opening statement and talked about all the retail sales, because in their application it doesn't mention retail sales, but just in yours.
Yeah.
So she kind of tipped her hand there. No, but you mentioned retail sales when you, in your opening statement, and those are her retail sales. We're smart, you know. Okay, that's all I had.
All right, we might have questions for you after.
Oh, 1 second. How many square feet is your space?
Roughly
Sure.
26, I think, 20.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Okay, I have Rodney.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, Rodney Ashby, Planning and Zoning Director. You've heard the proposal tonight and the description that the applicant stated in their application. A little bit different with the boutique side of things there, but as you pointed out, right next door to the previous applicant that requested the alcohol sales. So a lot of my presentation has already been given because Christy pretty much handled all of that. So I highlighted in the staff report the specifics of the area. Here's the comprehensive plan, the downtown zone, the downtown the downtown land use setting in the comp plan, then the downtown historic zone. And here's an aerial view of the property, 3D view of that property there. And there on the proposed tenant spaces is on this southwest end of the building. Commissioner Kehoe, you mentioned how many other bar establishments are in the downtown. I didn't look at the entire downtown, but I did look at all of these red ones here. You can see 1918 Lounge, Pre-Funk Beer Bar, and then the 4T Sports Bar. And this was just a Google view of them. Pete's Tavern is there. And then this would be the proposed use here. And then, of course, the one you just approved here. Of course, all of these, both of these will need to get a liquor license from City Council before they can move forward with their business. But again, you're approving the land use, and City Council's approving the alcohol sales. Mm-hmm. So there's a street view of where that business will go. And then I'm not going to cover this again. You've seen this. You've seen it in the staff report, and Christy just covered it. So, Building Department, standard comment. Engineering Division just said that a further review will be handled as part of any permits that come forward. I had no correspondence from the general public, though. It was only on Christie's that it was communicated. And then the proposed recommended conditions are in your staff report, same as what Christie had in hers. and then your potential motion for your consideration. And I would stand for questions.
Yeah, Randy, any correspondence from the police department? Just out of curiosity with the number of those establishments downtown, bar and tavern, and any,
So we
any
send out.
concerns, I guess is what I'm.
No, no concerns have been expressed. Yeah.
Would
We,
they-
we do contact them for every one of these, though.
Would the city police department consider it their duty to have expressed a concern if there was one, or would they just say, none of our business?
They do know, absolutely, they do know that it is their responsibility to express a concern. The mayor has approached them about that in the past, and I serve on the alcohol.
Tobacco and
committee.
firearms?
A committee for the city that addresses concerns that get brought up about underage sale of liquor and other issues that are brought to the police department. And they are fully aware of these establishments, and they frequent them to make sure they're
Careful what you say.
that they're in compliance. I don't know if they drink or not.
And I appreciate,
One of the reasons that the police may not have is because, in my opinion, the 21, 22, 23-year-old, that's not the clientele that these guys are looking for. I mean, if you're gonna have art in the back and sell wine, 21 and 22-year-olds, nothing against them, but I highly doubt they're gonna go into a place like that and spend money on a picture.
Yeah.
Just my opinion, but it's gonna be the.
Picture or a picture?
Both. Are you 22 or?
When they look at the pictures.
well, and that's what I was gonna mention, is that the type of establishments that are being brought forward is higher end and caters to a different crowd, different clientele. It's not, I don't see it turning into a bar crawl like downtown Boise might be, but, and if there were concerns, I would imagine, the police department would voice those, so appreciate that.
They would, and then I would hear it.
And then too, just to interject one more thing, this is a conditional use permit, so if the police department has trouble with these establishments, they could go after their conditional use permit.
That's absolutely right. Very astute, I would say, because sometimes we don't think about these conditional use permits as being retractable, that we can't pull them back. But actually, you can make that decision as a planning and zoning commission to withdraw that
You heard that now,
CUP.
right? You hear that? Sorry. Had to put a little humor into it,
Any other questions for staff?
but thank you, very much appreciate your comments.
Okay, we go to public hearing. Okay, I have 4 people signed up for the proposal. Cole Harbig, Beatrix Westmoreland, Matthew Lind, and Samuel Westmoreland. And you don't wish to speak, but you're in favor. We are in favor. Okay, if you want to talk, you got to come up and give your name and address for the record, and then you're good to go.
Beatrix Westmoreland, over at 108 12th Avenue South. I did want to note that on the topic of safety and working with the police department in the downtown area, that has been something that my partners and I have specifically reached out to the police department. We're hoping to meet with the officer that resides over the downtown area on July 12th after he's back from a vacation. We really want to make sure that we're all on the same page and that we're getting along and that community safety is of the highest standard. And of course, with our neighbor, we'll share all of that communication. We're really looking to attract a higher class individual who's coming to our establishments.
More mature.
I think that between the two of us, I think we're going to have a very, very very collaborative business relationship, and then I think that her space will be a wonderful addition next to ours as well, and we absolutely support her. And any of our information that we come across, ways we can work with the city better, ways that we can help and make sure that we're doing our part, of course, we'll make sure that we're in communication, and we're both staying on top of that. Thank you.
Anybody else that would like to speak for, against, or undecided?
Motion to close public hearing?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed.
What were you going to say?
I just was going to make sure that the applicant didn't have anything, but I don't know that there was any questions or.
We didn't have any.
Yeah.
Did anybody want to talk to the applicant?
Good. No, but if she wanted to add anything, that's all I think that we would want to just make sure that she had an opportunity to add anything she might have forgot or whatever.
Right.
Okay, awesome.
You know the old saying, quit while you're ahead.
Great use.
Another good one.
Yep.
Alcohol sales do well in recessions. Good timing. I'll move to approve
Sure
the.
the mayor would love to hear about that.
Yeah, well,
Statement.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit for alcohol sales establishment at 112 South, 112 12th Avenue South in the DH zoning district for the 112, representing Brian Warnock with all conditions and conclusions of law listed in the staff report.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the conditional use permit. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I gotta read my spiel. This CUP will become effective 15 calendar days from the date of this hearing unless an appeal has been filed with the Planning and Zoning Department with the appropriate fee. No action should be taken on this CUP until the appeal period has concluded. The applicant must confirm with Planning and Zoning staff there have been no appeals. And then, of course, you guys gotta get your liquor license, so. All right, good luck. Okay, public hearing item number 4, would like to have a continuance. We need somebody to make a motion to continue.
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion, we continue public hearing item number 4, Sierra Meadows subdivision and rezone to July 26, 2022.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to continue to July 26th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, public hearing item number 5, conditional use permit for the non-commercial kennel license. Do we have the applicant here?
Good evening. My name is Amber Schultecoetti. My address is 12 6th Street, Nampa, Idaho.
Okay, Amber, tell us about your dogs and what you're trying to do.
So I have 4 dogs. I have a 11-year-old lab, 7-year-old border collie, a 2-year-old husky, and a 1-year-old mix. I originally just had my border collie and my lab, and then my husband came back from Philadelphia and brought the husky. And then those two had puppies, and we kept one. I was not aware that I needed to get a conditional use permit or have a kennel license for these until Lexi got out and was brought back by animal control. Since then, I'm aware of all the standards inside the city limits, and hence why I'm here today. They are very well taken care of. They're very well behaved. We have a very large property for them to be in. We have a dog door. They're in and out. They sleep inside. They just roam during the day and in and out and don't cause too much problems. They're our babies, and we love them.
Any questions for the applicant at this time?
Not a question, but just you've had some contact with animal control with the city?
Yes.
Have you taken care of all of those issues?
I
And
have.
you're aware they're not going to happen, you're going to make them not happen again?
Yes, sir. There was the issue with our fence, and we've fixed it since.
Thank you.
How many is multiple occasions?
Lexi got a few times in a couple months, so about 4, same part of the fence. But we fixed it. Oh, yes. Well, for a while, we didn't know how she was even getting out. We couldn't figure it out, but they're smart.
Okay, well, we may have questions for you after. We'll
Okay,
see.
thank you.
Okay, Parker,
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. The action requested is a CUP. It's approval or denial of a conditional use permit for non-commercial kennel license for 4 dogs. The zoning is ILRS. It's surrounded by some residential, some future townhouses across the street, Kangaroo Clubhouse to the east, and then some commercial buildings to the west. It's an overhead picture there. And a street view. The non-commercial kennel is allowed via conditional use permit. We've covered the conclusions of law for a conditional use permit under the previous applications. The comments from animal control, they indicated multiple occasions, as the applicant had stated, where the dogs have been at large. Written warnings were given for the dog at large, as well as failure to have dog license and failure to have kennel license, hence why we're here. Then a typical building response there. The surrounding land uses are primarily commercial. 6th Street is classified as a collector road, so it produces a larger amount of traffic, which could pose a risk. As of this report, no comments were submitted by the public. The conditions are in the staff report. We are requesting that the conditional use permit be for the 4 dogs by name, and then they need to apply for a kennel license should this be approved. And there's a potential motion for you, and I will stand for any questions.
Any questions for Parker?
Question, just because I don't know, why do we need a kennel license if they're just their dogs? Just standard?
Yeah, it's I don't know how we would.
Bureaucratic?
Are you saying for 3 dogs? Why do
No,
they
no.
need a kennel license?
Why do they, so you said,
I would think
we
that
approved the
it's for our
conditional use.
tracking purposes, I
Okay.
would assume, so we can.
So and we track the dog's license when we go through the kennel license. So we attribute that kennel license just for those specific dogs that are there. So it's a way to track those specific dogs.
right,
Well, if they're licensed, wouldn't you be able to track them anyways?
Yeah, and
Double
With or without a kennel? I'm sorry,
so it's a requirement that we have in order to get them to get the license. It's a way for us to check the box. They have all gotten their licenses at this kennel for this property.
So the kennel license is not issued until the dogs are all individually licensed.
On that note, Parker, there was a memo, addition to that memo from the animal control that the 1 dog Lexi's license expired 4/14. Has that been taken care of?
Commissioner, we will double check that all those are up to date when they get their kennel license.
Any other questions for staff?
Just one more comment on that. A kennel license is renewed, so it's a way for us to keep track of that. If there are problems that come up with those specific dogs on an annual basis, they have to renew that every year. So,
if there's any complaints on record or anything like that?
yeah.
that's specific.
So a CUP says the land use is okay for a kennel license or for more than 2 dogs. But then the kennel license is attributed to this specific person, these specific dogs, and then they have to renew it every year.
But they can change the dogs, they just can't change the quantity of dogs.
They can't change the dogs. It's specific to those dogs.
Those breeds,
So the CUP allows you to change the dogs, but every time you get a kennel
yes,
license,
yes.
you would need to give the new names.
that's
of
what I
the
was saying,
dogs.
but I didn't do a good job of asking it.
Well, this CUP says for these specific dogs.
Yeah, so depending on the CUP,
Okay.
you can choose to not have that as a requirement of the CUP.
Any other questions for staff?
We covered it.
Okay,
And then some.
There's nobody signed up for public testimony. Is there anybody here who would like to speak for, against, or undecided? Do we have any questions for the applicant?
Make a motion, we close the public hearing.
It's been moved and seconded to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed.
With our other CUPs with kennels, have we been specific to the names of the dogs?
I don't remember.
No.
This is the first time I think I remember seeing.
Well, it depends.
Specificity to names of these dogs,
We've just said,
rather than numbers.
when one goes, then you're down to three. And yeah, we just limited the, yeah, not names. Would you,
You want to strike that? or-
We can certainly do it without the names.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, I think, just to be, I guess, more consistent than.
Is there an advantage to having the names? I don't.
it just limits to
Well,
those individual dogs.
Yeah, but there might be to having the name, because say animal control gets a dog that's loose, and Bosco is the name of the dog, and Bosco bites two people, and then another dog gets out, same breed, but this one is Susie, and Susie bites somebody, then we know that Bosco didn't get out again, it's Susie this time and Bosco the first time. So it helped to clarify if we're talking about the same dog is causing a problem or not, if they're getting out.
That's all with their licensure and the kennel license, so I don't think that's important for the land use.
I guess,
No.
would we change our decision if it was 4 different dogs? Or do we just care that it's 4 dogs?
4 dogs. I don't
If
think
it's 4, if
Four
it's 4
dogs.
pit bulls, we wouldn't do anything different.
No.
Okay. I agree with Jeff and.
And I think that the conditional use permit in itself should be motivation enough to have all your i's dotted and your t's crossed, in that regard, right? Because we can revoke it. If they can't take care of the dogs, make sure they stay in, they're not biting people, all that stuff, then we take the conditional use permit away.
I'll go ahead and make a motion then, if there's no further discussion. To approve the conditional use permit for a non-commercial kennel license for 4 dogs in an ILRS zoning district at 12 6th Street North for Amber Skoltek Quarry, representing DBLA LLC, with all conditions and conclusions of law as proposed in the staff report.
Do you want to change the one condition?
No, there's.
To get rid of the, to get rid of the names?
I didn't add that in the motion. It was just 4 dogs.
Well, it is in there.
It's one of the
It's in the
conditions.
staff
One of the
report.
conditions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, when I said all conditions, yeah. Minus the names of the specificity to the names of the dogs, add that to the motion.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve the conditional use permit. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's approved. This CUP will become effective 15 calendar days from the date of this hearing unless an appeal has been filed with the Planning and Zoning Department with the appropriate fee. No action should be taken on the CUP until the appeal period has concluded. The applicant must confirm with Planning and Zoning staff there have been no appeals. Okay, now you can go, 15 days, you can go apply for your kennel license. All right, thank you. All right, I guess you guys must be our last one sitting here. You hear about the daycare. Come on down. Yeah, your name and your address.
My name is Mariana
I want to
Lopez.
pull that down so we can hear you.
My name is Mariana Lopez. I'm located at 2722 Sioux Street, Nampa, Idaho 83686. And I'm applying for a CUP for childcare.
Tell us what's changing, because there's a
So what's changing is the business owner, which would be my mother. She's going to be retiring. I'll be taking over. And that's pretty much the only difference.
staying in the same location, everything's staying the same.
Yeah, everything else will be the same.
You and your mother live together?
No.
So who will you be at the childcare?
No, just the children, just work. Just a childcare.
You'll go there in the morning like you do for any other job, and
Yep.
then at the end of the day, you'll go home again?
Mhm.
You mother will stay there at that house?
She'll stay at
It's
her
a
own
facility.
house.
It's a facility.
Yeah.
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 Nobody lives there.
Yeah.
Just the kids are there.
Got it.
Overnight.
So, and any other employment changes, just your mom's retired, you're gonna hire?
Yeah, just a transition of ownership, and that's pretty much it for
Okay.
this purpose, this meeting.
Okay, all right, we'll hear from staff who may have questions. Okay, Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Action requested is approval or denial of a CUP for a daycare, day nursery, preschool. It is a transfer of ownership. That's the reason for this. In 2004, it was rezoned from RS to RD and granted a 10-year CUP for a commercial daycare. The facility originally started as a home occupation daycare in 2002. In 2014, when that 10-year CUP expired, the Planning and Zoning Commission approved another CUP for a daycare center with certain conditions that they obtain and maintain licensing with the state, that the outdoor play area and landscaping be maintained and neat, that the outdoor play area be continuously fenced, that they meet building, fire, and engineering requirements, that they be allowed signage to a certain degree, and then the CUP would only be granted to Elizabeth Lopez, the owner, current owner that's being transferred to her daughter, and then the CUP is only issued to her mother, which is why we're here requesting the change of ownership. So the building layout there, that's in your staff report. The street view there. The engineering division submitted a comment about the increase in traffic difference between a single-family home and a daycare. The area is a combination of different uses. The school across the street, single-family homes, the Hispanic Cultural Center. The business is provides an essential service to the community. One of the original comments, conditions was that the back in 2004 is that they provide one parking stall per daycare employee, and that has been maintained since that time. The conditions of approval were essentially just transferring the existing conditions over to this CUP and changing the ownership to the new owner. The potential motion is there for you, and I will stand for any questions.
Parker, this one doesn't have a time limit like the first one did, does it?
No, we really don't put time limits on CUPs anymore, other than just ownership change or if they're moving to a new location.
Okay, any questions for Parker? Okay, go to public testimony. There's only Maria signed up. We're glad you support your request. There's nobody else here, so.
Make a motion.
Public hearing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed. I think this is a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
no brainer.
Simple.
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit for a daycare, day nursery, preschool, Liz's Loving Child Center to transfer business to daughter in an RD zoning district at 407 Stampede Drive for Maria Ana Molina Lopez with all conditions of staff and conclusions of law.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the CUP. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I gotta read this one more time. This CUP will become effective 15 calendar days from the date of this hearing unless an appeal has been filed with the Planning and Zoning Department with the appropriate fee. No action should be taken on the CUP until the appeal period has concluded. The applicant must confirm with Planning and Zoning staff there have been no appeals. All right, thank you, ladies.
You too.
And that concludes the meeting.